Hello everyone, I'm here with JerAx from Team OG. Thank you for joining me for this quick interview. How are
Yeah,
you feeling today?
I'm just fine. Had a fun meeting before this, and it's really great to see Polish fans cheering for us.
Did you had the chance to go over the city to enjoy some sights, explore some food?
Not actually quite yet.
Not yet.
Perhaps today, perhaps tomorrow. Let's see.
When are you, because I know that you're going to Bucharest after,
hmm
when are you leaving from here?
we are actually going to Berlin before. We have a very short boot camp.
So you're going to boot camp
We're gonna leave on Monday.
prior to that. Okay, and how many days are you going to boot camp in Berlin?
We have only, I think, 2 days, 2 full days between.
2 full days. This is in Red Bull House.
Yeah.
Yeah, your main sponsors. Shout out to them, of course. So let's jump into the questions for this tournament. How do you feel after the loss, the final loss that eliminated you? What do you think was the main reason for you to lose those games?
I think we didn't really play on our level, and obviously the other game we played, it was a series against Liquid, and the second game we played, we weren't very happy how we drafted. But the first game, I think we had a good grip on the game, but we kind of like freed ourselves.
Yeah, you kind of
It
lost
wasn't so
some,
much about them; it was about just us,
just
screwing
you.
up.
Okay, another thing that I wanted to point out is that you were having a rough period after the international. Obviously, you made some changes to the team, and you probably needed some time to adjust to each other with Rezo.
Yeah.
But after MDL Macau, which obviously you won, the team kind of found this spark that was missing to light the flame of it, and you feel like reborn. You absolutely feel like a different team. You're smashing the qualifiers. After this event was over, you're pretty much qualified for every single event that is in the next 2 months.
Yeah.
How confident are you feeling right now with the team?
I mean, the confidence comes from that we can still learn. I think. Whereas we were previously in a state that it was hard to find what's the right thing to do for us as a team, and that's why it probably looked a bit different from the outside perspective, where it's kind of disconnected.
Hmm.
Whereas, and then when you kind of find the drive and everybody kind of connects together, then you start to understand that how much you can learn and how much you can reach, and that's what we have. Like we have a lot of potential still, and a lot to learn, and
Yeah, you still
that's what.
think that you have to learn
Yeah,
from each other, with each other.
yeah, and from other teams too, and
Hmm.
yeah, I think that's why we're really confident. Like we see a lot of things that we can improve, and that's what we're
Yeah,
doing.
it feels like you're on a good way right now. You're headed in the right direction, which is really amazing. I really hope that we will be able to see the OG from before the TI winning tournament after tournament after tournament. And really, as I mentioned, it is something that looks like you're on the right track. So the next tournament, as I mentioned, will be Bucharest.
Mhm.
After that is the epicenter. Was it
Or
was it this one after that?
Chinese tournament, I think, is
Yeah,
before.
maybe the Dota 2, the Chinese Dota 2 league is before that. I'm not sure. Anyway, the point that I wanted to make is that you made a short work of the qualifier for Epicenter.
Yeah.
You pretty much did not lost the game, if I recall correctly.
No, we didn't lose the series. No.
Yep. So, do you think that currently the competition in Europe is for the qualifiers? This is a lot less of a competition now that Secret and Liquid are getting invited pretty much to all of the tournaments. Do you feel it a lot easier for you to qualify? And if this is the case, do you feel that this is a bad thing, so that you don't have a challenge in order to prepare for the tournaments that are to come?
I mean, we are expecting success from these tournaments we're playing, and that would lead into us getting already qualified
Hmm.
for these tournaments. I mean, invited, not qualified,
Yeah.
and that would mean we wouldn't be playing in the qualifiers. I think the problem in the qualifiers is that there's a big gap between the higher tier teams, and I think we understand the game on
Another
a
level.
dimension that the other teams don't really understand yet,
Hmm.
and they're just behind, and they have a lot of potential, but it's a lot of like how you structure the game for yourself, and how team comes together, and it's just missing for them, and I can easily see these teams starting to understand what the better teams are doing, and looking at replays and stuff, and they can easily suddenly all the qualifier teams might be really good.
Yeah, so it's a matter of perspective of how you understand the game
Yeah,
in order to
yeah,
prepare
it
for
is.
it.
It is.
Yeah, that's
And I think
a good point.
everybody's really good at this game, but it's just how you come together as a team.
Yep.
That's what's missing for those teams. That's all.
Yeah. As you mentioned this, I wanted to bring out a point. Um, because obviously OG is not only a team, your set of friends, especially Fly and No Tail, they have a really, really long story together.
Hmm.
Um, During your rough period that I mentioned already, there was a lot of blame going on to No Tail from the Twitch chat, the Reddit users. That
Of course.
it's not something that is a valid point to bring. Like, yeah, they have a point, but it's something that was happening. So if you're checking those channels, if you watch Twitch, if you go to Reddit,
Yeah.
there is no way that this wouldn't affect you in a way. I know that Noteo is one of the main players, one of the main components in OG. That
Yeah.
he's the glue that keeps you together. He's a really outgoing person. He's really talkative. He's always trying to cheer you up, and he's everything that he's doing for the team.
Hmm.
Even whatever it is, even if it's creating space for Rezo, whatever it is, he
Hmm.
knows that his place in the game is to make the team win rather than him looking good.
Yeah.
So in that sense, is there anything that you can share with us from the perspective playing with No Tail that is not easily visible for the rest of the world that is not having access to your screams, your team
Yeah.
communication, whatever?
Yeah. I mean, the problem is that everything looks like outside the team, everything looks different than what we have inside
Yeah,
the team.
yeah, of course.
And obviously, like when you have rough times, somebody's always gonna look bad. It doesn't matter. Like it's just a single player, and certain things just affect certain people like in a more harsh way. And then somebody just might just look like a really bad player just for the outside perspective.
Yeah.
But obviously, like we are all into this. Like we all like gather the blame, and it's like if we have success, we all did really good, and then if we are not doing well, then it's the whole team's problem. It's never there's never one person to blame. You can always like even if one player is playing bad, like everybody around him is able to like kind of like carrying the weight of
Yeah,
his
yeah,
kind of.
of course.
And from him, I think what's the best part of Johan is he thinks about winning the games and as a team, and he has this kind of perspective that's very helpful for the whole team. And people just haven't realized it because they haven't played with him. But as soon as you play with him, then you like understand his point of view and what he wants to do. And it's sad that you can't show this inner section
Yeah,
of teams like to
there
the
is no way
public
to
and
show it.
actually teams don't want to show that
Of
because
course,
it's very
it's
valuable
personal.
information.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
also valuable information and obviously like we are competitors and yeah, we want to do the best and this is our way.
Hmm. Yep, of course, it's absolutely a valid point. During the rough period that you had pretty underwhelming um, tries to qualify for events, and it was obvious that things were
Yeah.
not going well for you guys.
Hmm.
Have you considered splitting up, or like
No.
you knew right away that from the beginning? I mean, you knew that you just have to stick to each other, keep playing, and keep improving together.
I mean, I think back of everybody's mind is always like, it's like the grass is greener on the other side, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I wish I could play with this player. He's playing so good, but it's really not like that. The problem is that
Never is.
the problems come when you don't solve the problems. Like you don't start to understand that okay, this is a problem, we need to solve it, and then when you do this, and every single problem you do the same process, like this is how you improve. And I think. A lot of teams in the past have had so many problems and they haven't been able to solve them and then they have disbanded just because nobody wants to tackle the
Yeah,
problems, right?
they didn't want to address actually the
Yeah.
problem.
So if you're willing to make a team so quickly, so why don't you just put everything to the team then for yourself?
Yeah,
That this is our mentality of the game, and just you know, if we end up not being successful, then we're like, why is it happening? Like
You have to
what's it?
reevaluate.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, this is a valid point. Okay, in order to wrap this interview, in order to close it down, I just want to mention something that happened recently. You opened your personal store, a side project from the team that is not involving Dota in any way. It's your personal brand.
Yeah.
Can you share more of this for everyone that is not aware? What is actually? Can you share the website? Was it just JerAx.com?
JerAx.gg.
.gg. Yes, of
Okay.
course. Go out and check it now. Pause this video and go out and check it now.
So the whole idea is to create something around your personal life, because at the end everybody's an individual in sports and esports, and it's very well known that eventually you're not going to be able to play as a pro
Yeah.
player. Like eventually, I don't know, maybe 10 years, maybe 1
15,
year,
20, yeah, no one knows.
could be next year, you know.
Could be.
And you have to build something for yourself to like kind of step on back, and that's like kind of what I'm doing here is. Just have something for myself, and maybe it's gonna bring something nice for me, and maybe it's not working out, but I'm not so worried, and it's something I wanted to do, and I wanted to make it look like me, and that's all.
That's
to
what
it.
you did. Yep.
Yeah.
So just before we recorded this interview, we spoke. I don't want to ask him this. I'll just share with you. There will be new products on the line, so keep an eye on the website.
Sure.
Make sure to follow it. And there's actually, because I'm following Budok quite often, and there was one of his streams. He entered your website, and
Oh,
there
he
was
did?
this. Yeah.
Okay.
He showed it on stream, and there was this questions and answers section
Yeah.
that you mentioned that you're going to answer questions each week,
Yeah.
and he was like, "Wait, this website launched a week and a half ago.
Actually,
JerAx, where are the
it's
answers?"
every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks, okay.
Maybe somebody lied to him.
Yeah, and maybe somebody lied to him. Anyway,
Okay.
check this section as well. There will be some questions answered by JerAx. Thank you very much for joining me for this
Thanks for
interview.
the interview, man.
I wish you and your team good luck in the future. Hopefully, we will be able to see each other on the events, take some interviews after you win the big prize.
Yeah, of
And
course.
hopefully, you will be able to qualify for the international, which is absolutely the main goal. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thanks.